Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. In today's video, we're going to be working on a Nintendo Switch. I have a Switch here that isn't working, the JoyCon. As you can see here, the blue JoyCon controller, it moves down, but it doesn't go to the right. So in today's video, we're going to be replacing the JoyCon controller on your Nintendo Switch. It's a pretty easy repair, guys. You guys should be able to tackle this one on your own. Alright, to start this video, guys, let's go ahead and remove the JoyCon controller and set the Switch aside. Now that we have our controller here, we're going to try and take off the screws. We're going to start by flipping it over on the back, and you can see we have screws located here, 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 and here. These screws, we're going to use a tri-wing 00. And if you can see it here, this is the type of screwdriver that we're going to use. I'll leave a link in the description below where you guys can find these tools. So let's go ahead and take them off. Sometimes these screws are a little stubborn to come out, but just take your time. You don't want to strip them. Now let's go ahead and break open the case. There should be, you can use a tool here, pry tool, plastic pry tool, to try and get into the seam, so you can see here, and work our way around the case. Alright, now let's go ahead and open this up. As you can see, guys, we have some ribbon cables here and here, and we have the battery here. I can see the spring here, so I need to be very careful so that the spring doesn't pop out. In order to get the battery out, I'm going to use my pry tool again, see if I can reach up underneath there and pry it out the way. I'm going to see if I can take this apart without having to disconnect the ribbon cables, but it looks as though these two I might be okay with. But let's see what happens when I start to disassemble this case here. We have, let's see, looks like we have 5 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it looks like they're small Phillips screws. So we can go ahead and try and take them out. Just a heads up, guys, I'm using a magnetic mat to store all my screws on so that I don't lose them. You guys can, I'll leave a link in the description if you guys want to purchase it. If not, like I said in some of my previous videos, it might be beneficial for you to take a picture of the screws once you remove them so that you don't lose them. Guys, if you guys like the content, don't forget to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, leave a comment in the description below if you guys have fixed your Nintendo Switch controller before, or if you guys have had other issues with your controllers. Okay, now with those screws removed, let's go ahead and see if we can remove the cover. Okay. Okie dokie, we got another ribbon cable here, guys. Right here, this is the joystick controller that we're going to have to remove. It's held by a ribbon cable. You can see it right here. We have to remove this ribbon cable, and then we should be able to remove this JoyCon controller. Notice that there is a spring right here. We have to be careful once we're taking this out that we don't lose that spring. And there's also one behind here also. We have to be careful when we're putting it back in. In order to remove the ribbon cable, we're going to pry up on this little lever right here, and that should free up the ribbon cable. There you go. And now the ribbon cable should be loose. The joystick is held in place by two screws. One is located here and one is located here. To get to this one, we're going to have to remove this ribbon cable or move it out the way. No, I think it's better if we remove it, so I'm going to pry up on this cable here. Okay. That was the cable here. Now we can... There we go. Now we should be able to remove the screws. They're two Phillips screws. And I'm going to remove the button and set it aside. Now we can remove the joystick from the JoyCon controller. There we go. There's our button. Here's our replacement button. You can see it's identical. So we're going to go ahead and put this in. Might be a little bit tricky because now it's going to be elevated, but we'll see. I think once we get the ribbon cable in, it shouldn't be too bad. Alright guys, let's go ahead and put let's put the old one to the side. Let's see if we can go ahead and put the new one in. In order to make this a little easier, guys, I'm going to remove this ribbon cable that's holding the battery cover on. That way I can set it out the way and I'll be able to work a little bit easier. Alright guys, I think that's it. Let's close the latch down on it. Start by putting the screws in to hold this in place. That way once it's locked in place, we know it's not going anywhere. Now we can go ahead and put these ribbon cables back together. Start with this one here first. We can put this one in. This one might be a little bit tricky. Okay, looks like everything is back in. Let's go ahead and put the spring back in. Now we can flip this back over. We get our screws now. Put them all back in. Alright, once our screws are in, we can go ahead and put the battery back in. Once our battery is back in, we can go ahead and put our cover back on. And it should snap right back together. Alright, everything feels good. Now we can put our final screws back in. Perfect. Now for the moment of truth. Let's bring our switch back around. Let's slide it back in place. Connect it okay. Moving to the left, moving to the right. Alright. Alright guys, if you guys found that video informative, please give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment in the section below. This joystick replacement works for not only if the stick is not moving to the right or to the left, but if you're having drift issues. Sometimes it's just easy to replace the whole joystick, and then you can configure it in the settings. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye.